some of the paintings have been here way too long. I can't let them go until they're resolved, and I'm really happy with them. Some of them have been here for about 4 years, not working on them constantly, but letting them dry and seeing what they might need, but then how I paint evolves. So when I come back to them, I'm looser, with not so hit up on hard edges, more painterly perhaps more fun, take more chances. So there could be a year before they're out, and it could be 4 or 5 years. But I just put them aside and work on more. I can start a new painting every half hour. If I wanted to, resolving them is the problem. Where colours meet is important, but sometimes it's what's between the colours, previous painting, becomes very relevant. And I don't like using palette knives. Just mix the colours intuitively, because I'm not describing anything in particular, as in a dog or a cat. I'm just trying to give something a bit of form. What will the purists think? Hello, Gussie. And as I'm talking, I'm looking at what I've done today, and parts of it has really worked and other parts haven't worked. So and the danger with oils, when you overwork, they just become muddy colours. So that's why it's best to let them dry and come back to them again. But what I've done so far, I'm not happy with. But that corner, if there's a corner in the circle, needed to be addressed. And when you do that, it just opens up a whole new dialogue within the painting. So now I'm seeing straight away now I need to address what's below it, and that might make sense of that. None of the work is site specific. I don't go out and do certain bays or inlets or hills. I work from memory, and I find that more liberating. They're not stuck to one scene, and then you're trying to. It becomes generic when I work this way. So it could be anywhere, but I'm hoping it gets a spirit or the essence of the landscape around, because it is unique. Now I've done that. What's next? It's like an organ in a church. If you go to church, all the buttons and stops. When you pull out one stop, the whole tone changes. Push it in, it changes again. So you get a balance. And with the painting, I'm trying to do that. Not to have it perfectly balanced, but to have little things pushing and pulling. And what's interesting, you paint a certain way, and then you'll go and look at someone's work, and you'll see, oh, they're doing the same sort of mark making or shapes, and trying to make sense of a painting in the same way. And that's interesting. That's just something that's up there. And this tool limits, in some ways, what I do with paint, but another way, it allows the under painting, which is part of it, to come through. Whereas if I used a brush, I would have done so in the past, it would have eliminated all history of the painting. Whereas this, letting some of it come through, which is now more important than ever. Whereas I've gone from being totally hard-edged masking tape all the way. Now I use it less frequently. But the quality of the line is still important. Sometimes when something is really beautiful in a painting, but it's holding the whole painting up, it has to go. And that's the culling process, or the self-editing process. You have to be hard. You have to be tough and say that's got to go. It's not working. And now, because of what I've done here, and before I was very happy with where these two met, now I'm chasing my tail and finding that now that whole green shape needs to be solidified more, and where these two meet has to have a harder edge for me. And I'm very happy enough with where these two meet now, and where these two meet, and where these two. But now this doesn't look right for me. So, and I'm this area here, I just like the underpainting there. But that's me. This is when I went back to painting representationally again, and it was failing miserably as one of those. So out of 4 tondos, I decided to have one of them as definitely more abstract. I like the idea of that having the black border, but it was just a matter of pushing that challenge and seeing where they go. The ovals are equally as challenging in terms of there are no hard edges, so you create hard edges within the borders, if you like. Whereas the square or rectangular has a hard edge, 90-degree angle, and you work into that corner, and everything hangs on that. Well, I promised myself I'd resolve these and I've all these blanks ready to go. But at the moment that's looking doubtful. But I wanted these out of the studio and out of my head before I start afresh. I don't want to paint the same paintings over and over and over again. You wouldn't write the same book over and over again. So it's the paintings tell me what needs to be done, really, because I don't know what don't have an end vision in sight. When I start a painting, I don't know what it's going to look like. So it's a case of discovering, experimentation, loss, excitement, that brings you back to the painting each time. But each time you come back to it, you're in a different frame of mind, so you're going to interact with that differently. And maybe that's why they take so long. Even now while I'm talking, I'm visualizing, I'm glimpsing what this painting could be like. I want it to be, it sounds ridiculous, painterly, but solid, and non-representational, but it could be anything. People will see different things in it. So it's just a matter of, it is not trial and error, but it is a matter of experimenting and taking a chance. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's only paint. You take it off, you let it dry, you paint over it. But when is the painting resolved? That's the question. I'm doing it for me, I suppose. I decide. Instinctively, you know when it's there. I always say when it's singing, as opposed to humming. These are humming. They're not quite there yet. Each painting, especially when I start them new, informs the next painting. I'll get a combination of colours or shapes, and that informs that, and it goes around in a circle. And after a few visits to each canvas, some will be stronger than others, and then I'll concentrate on them, bring them to a certain level. The others get left behind, and that's okay for a while. And then when I get stuck with the more resolved ones, I'll go back to the forgotten and work on them afresh. It's like my sketchbook, getting from this to this in roundabout ways. I think you have to I have to keep painting, keep improving, keep developing, evolving stylistically, taking more chances. After all, I keep saying it's only paint. And that's all it is.